Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. It's Barbara. You can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. We just have a little bit of static right now because we're getting some phone calls from all over the world. Good morning from Stuttgart. Good morning, Thomas. So, I'm going to just introduce myself. Good morning, Barbara. I am so happy to have you here, and I'm going to introduce you too. And we're going to start the podcast in a few seconds. All right.
Great.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being on today's episode. Ask Elly Intuitive Insights and your questions answered. My name is Elly Molina. I am an educator, an author, a psychic, an intuitive, and also I'm extremely excited to be interviewing Barbara Newman today and having a conversation with her. Barbara is, well, let's just get right to it. Barbara is a treasure trove of brilliance. So, Barbara is an author, she's a filmmaker, she's a branding visionary, just to mention a few things. And Barbara's got a brand new book called the excuse me right now, the Dreamcatcher Code. And I just put your book down because I wanted to read the back, and it has vanished. Here it is. Okay. So, for those of us joining the room today, good morning, Bobo. Good morning, Thomas. And the Dreamcatcher Code. So, Barbara, welcome to my podcast. And just say hi. So we
Hi.
got you live.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to speak with you and talk about my work and my vision for a new and healthy world.
Oh my God, yeah. I came across Barbara again through, I'm going to call it living intuitively. When we are in tune with our intuition and we follow the intuitive signals and signs, there's no way that we can not be on the correct path. So I was on Facebook and I saw that one of my friends had posted a beautiful cover, said, "This is my Saturday reading, the Dreamcatcher Codes." And if anybody looks at the cover, you just see this dream catcher, this cowgirl. It is enticing. There are orbs on this. There's the dream catcher. It just lends itself visually to, oh, there's magic in here and there's going to be something really powerful. And I hit that button and I started talking to Barbara immediately. And then I'm going to call it, their strangest things happen, but they're not really strange. So, but turns out that Barbara and I are both we share a city. Barbara lived in Great Neck, New York, and that is where I spent 22 years of my life in Great Neck, New York, teaching and raising my children. So we talk about synchronicities and coincidences. I just got chills. And then I started looking at Barbara's book and was like, I gotta talk to this lady. This is about young adults and empowerment. And everybody who knows me knows that I was a middle school teacher for over 29, almost 30 years. And so empowering children at this age is just, this is my heart beats really quickly. But anyway, enough about me over here. And this is like, I have to have Barbara on the podcast. Have to. And so I'm really, really happy that you're here. Barbara, today I want to talk about a few things, if you're okay with this. And what I'd like to talk about is the book, first of all, and if you can share with the listeners just the kind of like what breadcrumbs you followed to have the book. And then I want to talk about your film that is coming out, The Cowgirl Way of Life. And there's just so much that I want to say about that. But I'm going to just read really quickly something about your book and then I'm going to shut up. So here is just one of many accolades. Barbara Newman is a visionary. Using her pen like an artist uses a brush, she creates landscapes that take us out of ourselves and into worlds of wonder. Jana Lays, award winning author of The 12th Stone, and I'm sorry, Jana, if I mispronounced your name, but Barbara, take it away. Tell us,
Oh,
tell us.
okay. So, first of all, I'm really thrilled to be here. And what I say about this book really is I call it my love letter to Mother Earth and all of her daughters, and which I'll go into a little bit. But I think the story you talk about listening to your intuition, what happened to me, this book came to me in a dream. And I think that, I had been working on this amazing film, Cowgirls Are Forever, and I traveled all over the country interviewing these really strong women who are all about resilience and perseverance, and they keep going, and they've really impacted at the history of our country in everything from art, music, literature, of course, sports. And I had lost funding for this film, which had been my passion project for many, many years. I had heard an interview on NPR about the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in Fort Worth, Texas. And I was really intrigued by the notion of cowgirls and these strong women. And two of the things that I'm most passionate about are the environment and girl empowerment, girls' leadership, advocating for girls finding their voices. So I had lost, the funding had been put on hold, and my mom passed in the same week. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. So I found myself in meditation a lot to sort of, take a hold of myself and just feel what would come for next for me. And I had this dream that I was standing in a desert, which is really the cover of the book, the Dreamcatcher cards. I'm standing in the desert, and I've got this animal skin on my back, and I'm inside the Cowgirls Are Forever logo. And it's a mandala, actually. I'm in the sand. I'm standing in the sand, and the wind comes and it whips it around and it lifts it up into a spiral, and it comes down next to me in another form. And it was in the form of a book. And I said, I said, okay, well, just, going back to what you said, Ellie, you listen to your intuition. And I certainly knew that that was a very important message. And so I said, well, I don't really want to write a book about cowgirls, but all of a sudden, like these images came flashing at me, very visual, beautiful flying horses and eagles and turtles and animals and plants, and I realized that I was creating these four girls coming together from the four directions, and they were here um, on this planet at this time in this moment, coming together on a quest to find a missing piece of a crystal horseshoe that holds the codes of nature and the key to its survival. So I'm like, oh my goodness, well, I guess I'm writing a book. And
Oh,
that's
God.
what and that's what I did. That's what I did. But in order to write this book, really, I really needed to know the land. So I traveled a lot, and I listened to her messages, and there were so many messages. I traveled to the Southwest, to New Mexico. A lot of the book takes place in New Mexico and in Arizona, and I traveled to Wyoming. A lot of the places where I was filming, my interview subjects, these incredible cowgirls. And so while this is not a book about cowgirls, these four young stewards of the land are powered by the elements earth, air, fire, water, and cowgirl spirit. So that to me, I mean, cowgirl spirit, I think any one of us can own it. You don't have to own a horse to own the spirit. And it's about
Yeah.
being courageous and bold and resourceful and independent, and really not letting anything or anyone fence you in.
Yeah.
So
So, mhm.
yeah, so saddle your own horse, So that's really what I'm hoping, is that this book inspires that kind of passion for the reader, that to know that they don't really have anything holding them back except themselves, right?
Right.
And that they
Absolutely.
can, hopefully, my hope is that they see the natural world through new and wondrous eyes, so that they are inspired to protect our precious, precious planet. So it's an environmental eco fantasy, and it's got, flying horses who have eagle feathers, and it's got ley lines and crystals, and the dream catchers have messages that come through to these girls on their journey, so that they can find what they're looking for. And really, what they find is, how they fit into the universe and the connectedness of all things. It's a beautiful story, and it's got diversity and lots of different characters. I have a Lakota girl, and I've got a biracial girl from New York, and I've got my girl from the West. She's water, and her name is Yue, and she's Asian, and it means moon in Chinese. So it's really I don't even know how I did it, Ellie, to tell you the truth.
I'm, I'm going to tell you how you did it.
I don't really know
I'm
how I
gonna,
did this. I mean, how it
I'm
just
good.
came through. It was like a big download, but over a lot of time, many years.
So I'm going to tell you how you do it because I love to tell people how they do things. No,
Okay,
so no,
tell
no
me.
seriously, Barbara, you know that Mary Shelley was given Frankenstein during the dream.
Hmm.
James Cameron was given Avatar during the dream. Robert Louis Stevenson used to go to bed at night and say, God, universe, higher spirit, give me the plot. And Treasure
Wow.
Island came that way. So even if you hadn't asked, but in a way indirectly you were asking, because you're asking, show me what's next, right? Like, show me what my purpose is, show me what I need to do. And then you got your download during your dream. So that was your how. And then you were brave enough, because there's the difference, okay? How many people get the dreams and get the downloads and hear what they could possibly do, but then ignore the message. And so that's where you stepped into your power, you stepped into your courage, into your passion, and brought it to fruition. I mean, everything that you've done here, just to try alone, just like, oh, how easy is it for us to say, oh, it's too of an inconvenience, I can't go travel, I can't, we can find excuses to not step into that passion and follow the message and the messenger. And that's exactly what you did. So you brought this message to fruition. You followed it. You have courage. You have passion. You have what your characters have. And I happen to be reading the book right now, and that's like, yeah. And again, somebody else over here, Hope Fitzgerald, said that this book is a tapestry of mythology and magic from cover to cover, and I mean, I was not that I want to talk about myself here, but I've been traveling this week, so I've been reading as every opportunity that I can get. I am just back in your book, and it is again, it is young adult, but adults can. It's not, it's for everyone. It doesn't have to have a label like young adult, but at the same time, it's really great because that young girls will hear the message, and again, the message is one of stepping into our power, and then following that power, following that passion. I
Yeah.
just I just read a quote the other day from the Moonstone. You talk about moonstones and moons and crystals, and it was from Wilkie Collins, and it was one about the character that he had, and he wrote, "She was unlike most girls of her age. in this that she had ideas of her own. And
Mm.
that to me is, I mean, like I said, well, I didn't say, I'm not that far into the book yet to say, oh, these girls have ideas of their own, but they are following the calling and they are following their mission, if I'm correct. Correct? Yes?
Yes, oh yes, yes. They've been
Mm-hmm.
actually chosen
Yeah.
because of who they are. Really, ordinary girls doing extraordinary things. So they're really rooted in the real, these characters, but they become um, magical in that they're fearless in a way. They're fearless and they're have this purpose and they have. I mean, it's really there's a big theme of this book is sisterhood
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and circles of women and those who came before and those who will
Yes.
come again, and the mother and the feminine and all of that. So they don't quite understand that yet about themselves. They're a little young to understand, but they do have this, you know, these messages that they are listening to.
Yeah. 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 Um, this is just fascinating. I'm going to pitch the book to anybody and everyone on the podcast and who is listening to
Thank
the
you.
podcast. No, it's seriously,
Thank
really
you.
seriously. We need, and I can get on my platform in a moment about what we need, but the world right now, we need empowering children. We need empowered children, and we need children to start reading again, and to start to dream again. And I'm not going to get into like what we need as an educator, but we just need to start maintaining our time for our kids on the screen and watching what it is that they're putting into themselves. But that's a whole other conversation for another
Right.
day.
Right.
Now, I do want to tell you, I've been getting chills as you're speaking the entire time, and whenever I guess everybody gets different physiological responses to what they perceive as the truth. But whenever my right leg starts going down into chills, that means, oh, we are right on. This is like so spot on, and I've been getting chills for most of this conversation. I do want to change a little bit. And before the book was written, I'd like to go back and talk about the Cowgirl, the film, and the Cowgirl way of life. So, for those people who right now are looking at Barbara as well, Barbara's an author of this amazing new book. Before Barbara became the author of this amazing new book, she was in the process of, there's this documentary over here that is waiting to be shown, and I started watching the clip and the preview, and something struck me, and it was one of the women said being a cowgirl is a little more than riding a horse across the pasture. It's more of a state of mind, again, a state of being. The core feeling comes from the inside out. And again, that just struck me as like, wow, there was a cowgirl here. I just got chills again from watching the trailer. So, can you tell us more about the film and then even about the empowerment program that you have? Cowgirls Are Forever.
Okay, so the name of the film is Cowgirls Are Forever. And the name of the program that I had been teaching was Saddle Your Own Horse. And that's a leadership program for girls that I've taken into high schools and a museum here in the Berkshires where I'm lucky enough to live and in Massachusetts. So the I was listening to an interview. I was working in New York at the time, actually in the advertising world, and kind of wondering, like, what is my next? So I've had like three different career paths, and I heard an interview about of the National Cowboy Museum and Hall of Fame in Fort Worth, Texas, and I became so intrigued that there was actually a museum dedicated to these strong women. So I found myself in Montana 3 weeks later or 3 months later filming my first interview. And I went all over the country talking to women who really inspired me and whose story had not been told. So I guess you can call me a storyteller as well. I love digging deep and getting into finding the insights, figuring out what makes people tick, what they love, um, and what inspires them so that they can inspire others. So I was on this journey for a number of years, and we would raise money and go and shoot. We would raise money and go and film. And my background in advertising gave me the skills to become a director of this film and producer. And it changed my life.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it really changed my life. I'm basically a city girl, but I was driving cattle and, just being, surrounding myself with this landscape that was so unique to me. So it was also the landscape, the way these women were real stewards of the land, how they cared about the land, what was important to them, and it is the cowgirl spirit. The cowgirl spirit is really what I fell in love with, and that is something that I've brought to my work and also to myself as a woman.
Yes.
And that's really the important thing. I mean, we all have vulnerabilities, all of us do, and to sort of own the spirit of, perseverance and get back up on that horse. And I'm not going to let anyone fence me in. If I have a dream, I'm going to go after it, and I'm going to rein in my fears. And believe me, I had to rein in my fears, both in the business world of making a movie and in the business world of publishing, right? Oh my goodness, I'm a first time author. How am I going to do that? Will I find a publishing company? And I did in Green Writers Press in Vermont. I just want to give them a shout out.
Awesome.
They're
Awesome.
Yeah, they're wonderful, really wonderful. And it's you just I needed to settle my own horse so that I could be the best I could be in my life. And
Oh, Barbara.
you and it's not always so easy. It's not supposed to be so easy, but I want to circle back to what you said about intuition and listening to the messages, because when I traveled for this book, um, I would get messages from the mountains, from the rocks. I would see
Yeah.
the stone people in the rocks, and I would see a Native American Indian head in the rock, and they would speak to me.
I'm getting chills again.
Yeah, I mean, like I would be on a trail to do this major rock climb solo, and you know, questioning, can I really do this? Am I wise to do this? And I would look down at the trailhead and there would be an ant. And that ant had 1,000 pounds on its back. And she was going up the trail and going up and going up and going up. And I bowed to her and I said, thank you, because she told me that I could do it too.
How
So I was,
beautiful.
yeah. So like these are all the, it's interesting. I was listening to a Bioneers conference last year online, and Terry Tempest Williams, who is just one of my very favorite writers in the whole world, also told a story about an ant. And so I wrote to her and I told her my story as well. And there are so many messages everywhere, and we just have to pay attention. Just have to pay
Yeah, yeah.
attention.
So, absolutely. What a beautiful story. I have to laugh, okay, because I'm pulling this into, I'm making my own associations. This past July, I have had an ant invasion in my home,
Yeah,
and
we
it
have
was
to.
And I was like looking at these guys, and I'm like, okay, you have a message here for me. That's why there are so many of you. But we're not going to cohabitat this apartment. You can go outside and you can go live out there. I'll show you the door. Only you've got a message for me. And so I said, okay, what's the message? And then, I went to Google Gods, okay,
Right.
to find out the
Of
message.
course. What is ant medicine? Ant medicine. Well, they're very workers. I mean, they're colonies and they're societies, you know?
Yes, they persevere, they persist, they work really hard. I said, "Oh, okay, we're going to cohabitat, but not here, not inside." Okay, and so I took the message of the ant medicine and
Mm-hmm.
put that into my life, and went gung ho on a project, in with kids. Um, and this is just, that's one of the reasons I know that I was led to you. Again, no coincidences. But really quickly, Barbara, I'd like to just open this up to anybody who's listening live on the call. If they have any questions right now or comments, if anybody want to call in or ask a question, I know we have live listeners here, so please, give us a shout out. All you have to do is either type it in or call in. Would love to hear from you. Just give them a moment. So, like, okay, all
It's
right.
quiet on the other side.
It is. It is. All right. Well, okay. And that's fine. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. And if you don't have any questions or anything, I'm just going to let Barbara continue. What's next, Barbara? I mean, I know there's the marketing of the book now and getting out there. And what about what's going on? What's happening with the film?
Um, I had I had put the film on hiatus, on hold for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
while I was writing this book because it really demanded all of my bandwidth and my attention and my love. Um, and so, what I am hoping to do is once this book is sort of in the world, I will be working on, well, this is really fun. I will be working on doing leadership programs around codes of the cowgirl.
Oh, beautiful.
Which, right, so I've sort of taken the Saddle Your Own Horse workshop and I've tweaked it so that the book can hold some so that it can go along with the book. And I'd like to do dream journals for girls with
Mm,
prompts and
mm,
really create a program. And also, I'm going to be working with, I don't know in what capacity yet, we're determining that now with Girl Scouts of America.
oh,
And,
beautiful.
I will be donating books to the free little library I'm sorry, Little Free Library Read in Color initiative because this book is also about diversity and building cultural bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And so that program is about giving books to underserved areas where the readers can actually see themselves as characters in a book.
I love it.
Yeah, people of color. So, yes, I need money for the film. I do, and we can be working on grants. We do have some interest from someone I cannot name right now,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a wonderful show on PBS, and
Mm-hmm.
we've been in talks with them about possibly doing a program. But right now, I think I am so invested in this book and in what can come out of the book right now.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like a tree, right? There are
Yeah,
lots of
yeah,
different
yeah.
branches and lots of different roots. And I
Yes.
think that I really feel that it's an important book. Yes, it's a great fun story and it's a wonderful adventure and it's all imaginative and all of those great things. But the message really is, I mean, it's galvanizing in a way. I would like girls or all readers to fall in love with Mother Earth in a way that maybe they hadn't before,
Yes.
so that they are inspired to become stewards of the
Yes.
land, and we need
Yes.
this. I mean,
We do.
this is the critical moment for this. So I think climate crisis is here, and this book illuminates two issues for me that are super important: climate change and girls finding their voices and vital place in the world, because we all have to do our part, and we're all connected. And I think right now, with the way things are, this book might be more important than the film.
Yeah. And um I love what you're doing, and I just have I can't help my psychic stuff. I can't. It just and I'm just gonna pop it
Oh,
out
good.
here.
Tell me,
It's
tell me,
it's
tell me
it's
what's going to happen. What's going to happen?
they're gonna go hand in hand. The book is going to encourage the rest of the film, and I do see the workshops, and I see this growing as large as you allow it to go, because
Great.
it is needed. It is much needed. The girls are hungry for this, thirsty, and the world is ready. And that is, there is no coincidence that you were given this dream and this mission, because you're the one. Okay, it's a heavy responsibility, but you're the one. You're the one.
Okay.
Barbara,
I
this
need
has
all the
been
help I can get.
yeah, and you've got an you've got an army of angels and guides and humans, all collective consciousness, who are here and will continue to help you bring about this message. And the earth needs it. The earth is thirsty for this. I just want to share one more thing. Thomas is writing that this is so needed, especially at this time in our lives. I love the fact that you not only wrote the book, but that you also, however, you also want to continue to teach. So very beautiful, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you, Thomas.
Barbara, thank you for being here today. And I am just so inspired. And everybody go out and get a copy of the book and go out and watch the trailer, and let's make magic. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're
I
very welcome. And if you want to learn more, you can go to my website, which is barbaranewmanauthor.com.
let me put that in there. BAR Barbara Newman Author.com. Okay, so Deb saying thank you, Barbara. Eva, thank you, Barbara and Ellie. Thank you, Thomas. So we're getting a lot of thank yous from our live people, and the podcast is well listened to on other venues, so not just live. So Barbara, you're going to get the word out there, and I just want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing your work and your mission and your passion with the world.
Thank you, Ellie.
Ah, they're going to.
We're both light keepers, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm so excited for you. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I look forward to seeing and hearing so much more of what you're doing and staying in touch. Okay, thank you,
My
Barbara.
pleasure.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks. Everybody, thank you for being on the podcast today. It was a pleasure. I'll see you all next week. All right, remember, new moon coming up. New moon is on the 6th of September. So you know what to do, everyone. All right, take care. Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay,
Bye bye.
bye.